Hi guys, right, let me just get the camera. Let me get the camera right. Oh, let's have a look. We need to set up the camera. How low can you go? How low? Right, okay. Let me... How is everyone going? Let me just get everything set up. 1 second, baby. Okay, as you can see, I'm completely not ready. How is everyone? Right, we're going to get the camera sorted. I've just had my meat. Right. Okay, let's just get you there. Let me get this camera adjusted. We want to go up. Up, 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 up. Oh. Does that look better to you? God, that's a good looking man. Look at that good looking man. Okay, that's good. Right, we'll set up there. Good. Hi everyone. Now let's... Oh, Stefan, you're on, my friend. You're on. How are we going, Stefan? Right. I'm a little bit tired, but... So, guys, what are we going to talk about? Let me just see who's on. Richie Boy's on. Yo, Richie Boy. Yo, Adrian. We've got Angie on, Stacey, Lorna. Okay, I've only just come on, so we've got to give people a chance to join us. Karen. Now, Stefan Stefan has just interviewed. We were discussing this book. But, obviously, Stefan has just interviewed Dave Hebler, so watch out for that, guys. Yeah, I know that Stefan has spent all day editing. All day. So, obviously, he's got the Dave Hebler interview, the most recent one as well. So, you took a break to watch me. Well, good thinking, because I'll tell you why, we're going to put you up. We're going to put you up, Stefan. And we're going to do those two 10-minute interviews you did. Let me just get it up. Let's get your brilliant channel up. Here it is. Look at that for a channel. Wow. Who owns that? Surely it's not Mr. Adika. Now let's find them. Let's find your short clips. What would they be under? You got the 2 10-minute clips. Let me have a look. We've got our interview. I can't see your 2 clips. Where would they be? Stefan, let me just ask Stefan a minute. Stefan, where would the 2 clips be? The 2 10-minute clips on your channel? Well, thing is, you can send me a link, but the problem is it takes me off. Hang on. Okay, yeah, send me the link to the 2 10-minute clips. Yeah, and I'll do it on here. Is that okay, Stefan? So how is everyone? How's Karen? How's Richie Boy? So I'm on a diet. So I've only eaten once in 24 hours. I just had lamb and pork. That's all I had. That's all I've eaten today in 24 hours. I haven't been hungry at all. Yeah, Richie Boy. He's got a good channel. And Richie, he's just interviewed Dave Hebler yesterday. And Stefan has told me it was very, very interesting. Very interesting. Right, let's see if Stefan sent it me. Versions. If I click on watch, let's see if it comes up there. Because what Stefan did, he did 2 10-minute videos. No, they're not coming up there. Let's go all. I know, we'll press all. Let's have a look. we've got part 1 and part 2, haven't we? So we've got the Mike Stone one, which we still need to review. That's weird that they're not there. That's strange. Let's go back to video. I don't understand why they're not there. Stefan, what have you done? Have you hid them away? Aha, that's 43 minutes. Let me just keep looking. Yeah, they're not there. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to go back to one of the other ones, and we can just go through that. We're going to start this one at halfway, okay? The Mike Stone one. Let's watch some of the Mike Stone one.
Satisfied with that. So
let me just check that you guys can hear it, okay? Okay, are you ready?
You start changing your physical appearance, and the way she looks now, that's again, you can say it's tragic and it's sad because somebody's so naturally beautiful.
High Hidden Minds.
Aren't they sad? Don't they know in their heart that it's who they are inside that is the beauty? It's not the exterior look.
Right, this is where he's talking about Priscilla. We'll go back a little bit. So hi Hidden Minds, hi Renee. Obviously we all love Hidden Minds YouTube channel, which is fantastical. Right, let's listen to Mike Stone talking about Priscilla, and then we'll give an opinion.
Album. And these were personal pictures that I've taken of Priscilla. And my God, with no makeup, she is such a gorgeous woman, just naturally beautiful. So she didn't need anything to enhance her appearance. But at some point in her life, you start changing your physical appearance. And the way she looks now, that's again, you can say it's tragic and it's sad because somebody's so naturally beautiful. Aren't they sad? Don't they know in their heart that it's who they are inside that is the beauty? It's not the exterior look. So, it's very sad. It's very sad.
It's very sad. And I know
So,
I spoke with you before. I went to Graceland.
I want to comment on that, yeah, before a very handsome Stefan starts to interrupt. Right. So guys, I do have an opinion on that. Okay. Now, Mike Stone, there's a lot of things I want to say about Mike Stone, but I do see Mike Stone as a victim. I do see him as a victim. I do think, it was horrible what happened, the way that Priscilla secretly dated Mike Stone, the way that it happened for a year before Elvis found out. And then when Priscilla does finally decide to leave. Now, can you hear me? Right, hang on. All right, let me just check. Can you? Right, okay, hang on a minute. Can you hear me? Let's just check you can hear me. I just want to check you can hear me, guys, because I can just restart it. Yeah, you can hear fine. Okay, Hidden Minds, it's working. Can everyone else hear me? You keep stopping. Sound is going in and out. Let's just wait a minute. Let's just wait a minute, guys. So is the sound going in and out with me or with the video? Because I can just restart it. Stacey, can you hear me okay? Yeah, so Karen's is fine. Stacey, can you hear me okay? I hear you fine. Yes, I can. All right, okay. I think it's okay. Right. Now, it's a funny thing here because Mike Stone obviously is having a bit of a snipe at Priscilla. Yeah? We'll see how it goes, guys. We'll see how it goes because obviously the internet sometimes is annoying. I personally don't think Mike Stone, who, what he's doing, he's basically talking about her plastic surgery. He's sort of saying, look, after she left me, everything went wrong. He even insinuates it with Lisa. Yes, Stacey is hearing me okay. So let me just press play and Let me see if you're hearing me okay, guys. Okay.
And just we're fascinated as fans of the music and all that. But when you go to Graceland, there is a bad taste on your taste buds when you walk out, because you see Lisa Marie, you see her son next to her, you see Elvis. Just the whole thing is it's very dark. You don't walk away feeling good, for me personally. I'm glad you wrote the book, and you do give a light on the relationship and your time with Priscilla, Lisa Marie Presley. Links will be up here.
You know, I mean, you know, like Stefan has said that when he goes there, it gives him a bit of a negative feeling. Does anyone else that's been there, do you feel that way, that you get this sort of negative vibe? Is it true, guys?
Yeah, make sure if you guys want to order it, you could click right there. In the past, you're surrounded personally by stories and movies about Elvis, and you're often seen as the guy who took the king's wife. Now, to clear the air here, because a lot of people think, oh, that was Elvis's friend. How could he have done that? And let me give you to say what you have to say about that.
Well, first of all, there's, like all situations in life, not with somebody famous, but just between normal people, there's a lot of misinterpretation, misunderstanding, assumptions. That's how we are as human beings. So we create our reality through our perceptions. So the idea that has been floated around for many, many years is that I was Elvis's instructor. I mean, many people come up to me and say, oh, how does it feel to teach Elvis?
So guys, let's just keep listening. This is obviously Mike Stone being interviewed by Stefan on Artist on Record. I'm going to go with this, Stefan, because it seems to be working. This is a misconception. Many people think that Mike Stone was an instructor of Elvis, that many people think that Elvis and Mike Stone were friends. They were never friends. Mike Stone was never Elvis' karate instructor.
Elvis Presley karate. I never taught him a lesson. Then the other thing was, you were very, very close friends. I met him 4 times in my life. 3 of the times were within a minute or 2, and 1 time a little bit longer. But you can't establish the type of friendship people are assuming that we had. We were not close friends. Now, I think if...
So like Andrew's just said it was cutting out. Let's just keep going. Let me know. You give me reports on how the sound is, guys. But this to me is quite interesting. I mean, Richie Boy has just said that when he went, he loved it. He loved it. See, I think there's different opinions. Now, Stefan felt a bit eerie, a bit odd when he went there. Yeah. Whereas there's other people that have been, loved it. Like Richie's just said, he found it amazing. Yeah. So I think it affects different people in different ways. Personally, me, I think if I went, I think I would love it. I think I would absolutely love it. I would feel like I'd gone to heaven. Like, I think that's just being that close to Graceland. That's how I would feel personally. So I completely agree with Richie Boy that it would just be amazing. It would be amazing, guys.
If I was with him, I think I could have influenced him to make a change, because he was so vulnerable. But I think a lot of times, even when they asked Priscilla, well, why didn't you stay with him? You loved him and you have all of this, and why would anybody give that up? Well, she has an agenda too. She has a life she wants to live. She has goals and dreams. And why shouldn't she? Like anyone else, why?
Oh my God. Now, there's a lot in that, isn't there? First of all, he hints that if he could have advised Elvis, he might have put Elvis in the right direction. I personally find that slightly insulting. So then he moves on to say, Priscilla was entitled to her life. Priscilla was entitled to do what she wants. She had a future. But the thing is, she chose her life. Because once she and Elvis got engaged, got married, had a child, Lisa Marie, beautiful Lisa Marie, then that was her life. That was her life, guys. Yeah. So he's sort of saying, now, please be involved. Can you get involved in what the point I'm trying to make here? He's sort of saying, why wasn't Priscilla allowed to have a future, to have a life for herself? But she did. This is where me and Mike Stone disagree. Stefan, what do you think? She did have a life. Remember, she longed to get engaged to Elvis, to have his child. Elvis eventually, for whatever reason, whether it was under pressure or not, they got pregnant. 9 months later, Lisa Marie was born. Yeah. So they had a life. Yeah. They had a beautiful home. They had a beautiful daughter. Priscilla could do what she wanted. She had her own car. She could go where she wanted. Friends and family could visit Priscilla. Priscilla was not a prisoner in Graceland. She had a life. Now, this is what's different, in my opinion, is that, yes, she had a life with Elvis, with Lisa. They had a home, but her eye was somewhere else. Her eye was on a different path. This is how I see it. So when Mike Stone talks about Priscilla, you know, almost as if, why should she be the prisoner and Elvis wasn't? Well, I don't agree. I don't think Priscilla was a prisoner. Now, Priscilla deciding to sleep with different men. She slept with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, 3 months after Lisa Marie was born. Now, that is choosing a different life. Eventually, she chooses Mike Stone. That is choosing a different life. So what I say to Mike Stone's comment that she needed her freedom, why can't she have a life, is, well, why did she marry Elvis? Why did she have his baby? Now me, when I got with my wife, yeah, I met my wife 20 years ago. She got pregnant quite quickly. She wanted to get pregnant. We both did. I didn't 6 months later go, oh, I want to shag that girl. I choose a different life. I made a commitment. When I met my wife and we were pregnant, I said, right, that's my responsibility. We're going to together, mother and father, we're going to put all our time into bringing up our child. That was my life. I didn't go, oh, do you know what? This is boring. I'm going to go and shag some women. I'm going to go and live with someone else. I'm going to have a secret affair for a year. This is the mistake. This is the mistake. I'm going to rewind this little bit. I want to rewind this little bit. There's two things. Mike Stone is saying, well, if I knew Elvis, I would have put him different. Now remember, Elvis in 1970, 1971 was very happy. He was riding high. You go and watch Elvis's interviews. You go and watch Elvis's concerts in 1970, 1971, when this secret affair was happening with Mike Stone and Priscilla. And you've got a very happy, confident man looking very healthy. So Mike Stone is sort of going, oh, you know, if he spoke to me, things would have been different. You know, if Priscilla stuck with me, maybe she wouldn't have had plastic surgery. Maybe she wouldn't have ruined her looks. She was a beautiful woman. Look what she's done to herself. What I see from Mike Stone is that he's passing all the blame. He's going, ha ha ha, look what happened to you. Oh, I could have helped Elvis. Oh, why can't Priscilla be free? She was in a prison. I'm going to rewind it a bit so you can watch it, guys, because I think it's important. Let me just find the section. So he starts talking about how beautiful she was. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on, guys. Let's just go from here, see if it starts here.
I met him 4 times in my life. 3 of the times were within a minute or two, and 1 time a little bit longer. But you can't establish the type of friendship people are assuming that we had. We were not close friends.
We're going to get invaded by kids.
I think if I was with him, I think I could have influenced him.
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
To make a change, because he was so vulnerable. But I think a lot of times...
See, guys, do you see that? I could have influenced him to make a change. He was so vulnerable. Stay back over there. Stay back over there. Right. Sorry, it's kids in the background, guys. Laura.
You know, even when they asked Priscilla, you know, well, why didn't you stay with him? You know, you loved him and you have all of this, and why would anybody give that up? Well, she has an agenda too. She has a life she wants to live. She has goals and dreams, and why shouldn't she?
So see, guys, she has goals and dreams. Why shouldn't she? Come on. Lisa Marie was, well, by the time Priscilla decides she wants to chat up Mike Stone, basically get naked with Mike Stone, yeah? Lisa Marie's 3 years old. That's why she shouldn't. Mike Stone, I say this to you in case you watch my videos. That's why she shouldn't. What am I going to do if I've got a 3-year-old daughter at home with my partner? Am I going to go, oh, you know, I need my freedom? Bye, 3-year-old daughter. Bye, husband. Do you see my point, guys? Let me just let the dog out. Go on then. I'll press play and then I'll let the dog out. 1 second, guys.
Like anyone else, why can't you live your dreams?
Right.
Why you keep denying your power and your abilities? So listen, we all go through this. I was never that close to Elvis, so I didn't think that I did anything against him. I'm not going to go out and try to hurt him. I was as selfish as anyone else. I was trying to make myself happy, and Priscilla gave me an opportunity of a lifetime for some, because he was so vulnerable. Sorry,
guys, this is very crucial, so I want to get this bit right. The kids are in the background. They've just gone upstairs. The dog's gone upstairs, so I think should be all right now. Let me just check your comments. Do you know what? Stacey says he's making excuses. Angie says she had an agenda. She definitely had an agenda. I think Mike Stone was her way away from Elvis. Yeah. So Richie Boy says, can you see how all the people commenting on Elvis are filled with guilt? I think, Richie, I understand what you're saying. He looks guilty. Yeah. He looks guilty, but he's making excuses. He said, oh, you know, if it wasn't for me, I could have helped Elvis. Oh, look what Priscilla did. She's ruined her looks. Oh, you know, why can't Priscilla be free and do what she wants? There's no remorse. This is the problem we have, with a few people that I think they're not helping themselves. Like Stefan has just interviewed Dave Hebler. Now I feel sorry for Dave Hebler. He's 87. He's been hated for 50 years. But when has he apologized? When has he showed regret, remorse? When has he tried to make things right with the fans? And then he wonders why he still gets hate 50 years later. I don't think an 87-year-old man should get hate. Like even Mike Stone, I think, is he 81? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's 81. Yeah. I don't want Mike Stone to get hate 50 years after what happened between him and Priscilla. I feel that Mike Stone was a victim. I think Priscilla took advantage of Mike Stone. Mike Stone couldn't believe that a beautiful woman that was married to Elvis, a very famous woman, a very wealthy woman, a very powerful woman. Mike Stone, quite an insecure man. He was very insecure about his looks. Couldn't believe that Priscilla liked him. Yeah. So he fell for it. He was hoodwinked. He fell for it. He fell for her beauty, her sexiness, her charms. She was his target. He fell for it. Now, unfortunately for his wife, who was pregnant, and his daughter, they were the victims, weren't they? Because he was a victim of Priscilla, Mike Stone, but Frances Stone, who was pregnant, who had a small daughter, Mike's unborn baby, was the other victim. Because I don't think Mike Stone would have left Frances Stone if it wasn't for the allure of Priscilla. Priscilla was so dominating and beautiful and sexy and wealthy and famous and Elvis's wife that Mike Stone couldn't say no. The temptation was massive. An almost unimaginable temptation. he felt very flattered. Yeah. He couldn't believe she liked him. She chose him. So he dropped his life like a rock. He dropped Frances Stone. Obviously, he owes her an apology. He dropped his unborn child, his small daughter, I think was 3 or 4 years old, because temptation got the better of him. Yeah. Priscilla, for whatever reason it is, she wanted other men. Honestly, guys, I'm not even trying to attack Priscilla. I'm not even trying to hate Priscilla. I'm trying to say that Priscilla just fancied other men, guys. Seriously. Priscilla just fancied other men. Mike Stone was the next man on her target list. And she knew she was going to get her man. She went out of her way to get her man. If you watch Mike Stone's interviews, recent interviews, he says it. She made a beeline for me. She wanted me. She was going to get me. And she wanted a divorce from Elvis. She wanted away from Elvis. No matter what the consequences were, how it harmed Lisa Marie, who was taken away from her father, Elvis. Lisa Marie, who was forced to live with a stranger, Mike Stone. No matter what the price, Lisa Marie's mother, Priscilla, was prepared to pay that price. No matter what the price, Mike Stone, the karate champion, was prepared to pay the price. Mike Stone's price was leaving his wife, who was pregnant, leaving his daughter, leaving the family home. Honestly, I think they would have stayed together if it wasn't for Priscilla targeting Mike Stone. I see Mike Stone as a weak victim. He was a weak man who was completely consumed by Priscilla. This is what I think, guys. Just my opinion for entertainment purposes. So let's have a look. Bernie. Hi, Bernie. We have been on for ages. There's no need to make excuses for Mike Stone or Dave Hebler. They were both grown men who made choices, and they need to own. You don't need to hate them, but you don't need to like them. Yeah, I agree with that, Bernie. They were grown men, but I do break down the circumstances. Priscilla, the most famous woman on the planet in 1970, 71, made a beeline for Mike Stone. Mike Stone was a typical man, probably in his late 20s, yeah? Mid-20s, late 20s, I don't know his actual age, who just couldn't say no. So yes, he is fully responsible for his mistake that he made towards Elvis, towards his own wife, towards his unborn child, towards his small daughter. So, you know, it's not about hate with me. I do have an opinion that 50 years later, yeah, because don't forget, this happened in 71, 72, could have even been the tail end of 1970. I do have an opinion that over 50 years later, we need to just as fans, we need to let it go. Now, what surprises me is Mike Stone here. This is a recent interview with Stefan on Artist on Record. And there's no remorse, no regret, no apology, just lots of excuses. He even has a snipe at Elvis, a snipe at Priscilla. He even is arrogant enough to go, well, you know, I could have helped them. I could have helped them, you know. Yeah. We need an apology from Mike Stone. We need Mike Stone to show regret. And then maybe we as fans can at least try and forgive. At least try and see, all right, well, maybe he's learned his lesson. The problem we've got is he hasn't learned his lesson. He's too stubborn, too arrogant. And I don't like to say it because he's 80 odd years old. I can't believe that a man 50 years after a massive mistake, not just to Elvis and to Priscilla and to Lisa, but to his own family, can't show regret. I think at some point he says, I was selfish. I think at some point he may say, I put myself first. I think he's about to say it now. But where's the apology? Where's the apology? Let me just check your comments, guys. Karen, I blame Mike as well. He saw dollar signs and thought Priscilla was really care for him. Yeah, Joy, I agree. Joy, I think, welcome back, Joy. We haven't seen you for a while. Joy, I do believe that the money was a factor in the decision making. So Stacey says, I don't hate them, I'm indifferent. Now, with me, I do think how old they are now and the fact 50 years have passed is a factor on how I feel. Now, if I was talking about this 5 years after it happened, I think I'd be quite angry, quite upset. But 50 years after it happened, more than 50 years, I think it's time to let things go. Does Mike Stone have it in him to apologize? I don't think so. And this is a shame. Does Dave Hebler have it in him to apologize? Maybe. Maybe. Stefan is giving me the impression that maybe. So let's just keep going through the comments. Yes, he was Elvis. Wasn't he? He didn't want to get married one bit. Yeah, and Richie, I agree. I think most of us fans, Elvis fans, agree that Elvis was pressured into the marriage, wasn't ready for marriage. There's a lot of circumstances that went on behind the scenes with Vernon, with Colonel Tom Parker, with Priscilla's parents, and many other factors. The fact that Elvis was a Christian man, so he dealt with his own moral dilemmas. He may have made promises, maybe. Some say he didn't. So the marriage really, the whole thing could have been a big farce, couldn't it? It could have been. He will never apologize because he doesn't think he did anything wrong. Bernie, I agree. And this is the shame. This is the shame that he makes excuses and refuses to apologize. I find him very arrogant. Yeah. But I also see he's a human being with feelings. He's had hate for 55 years. Didn't he even leave the country because he felt so uncomfortable living in America because of all of the hate? The only person I don't have sympathy for is Priscilla because she keeps using Elvis's fame for money and she was a sorry mother. Now, Joy, we could talk about this for hours. For hours. I get told off for talking about Priscilla. Even just yesterday, I was told off and I was told that we make Priscilla a target and that we are Priscilla bashers. Yeah. Now, I get it why people call us that. I understand why people call us Priscilla bashers. I get it because we bring her up a lot. But why do we bring her up a lot? It's literally because there are dozens and dozens, maybe even hundreds of things that she has done that were wrong to Elvis, to Lisa, to Riley, to Finley, to Harper, to Elvis Presley Enterprise, to Graceland. There are so many things. And now to Bridget Cruz, the auctioneer. I think Joanne's watching. Hi, Joanne. Joanne, are you watching us okay? So, Joy, that's a very good point. Joy just said she makes herself a target. It's true. You know, even just if I bring up the fact that she tried to contest Lisa's wishes on who inherited everything. That's crazy. That is crazy. What mother contests her dead daughter's wishes where her inheritance should go? What mother does that? What grandmother does it? It's the mind boggles. And this is why Joy has just said she makes herself a target. And then Stacey says she agrees with Karen. Yeah, Angie says it. All roads lead back to Priscilla. I agree. There is so much wrongdoing. So much. Even I, as a forgiving man, I really struggle with Priscilla. I really don't know where to go with it. Because of course, you guys know that I always keep demanding her that she apologizes. Everyone, it keeps telling me she will never apologize. But even if, let's be honest, guys, even if Priscilla apologized, I don't think that would be enough. I don't think it would be enough. Don't forget, the other problem we have as fans is that we have to watch Priscilla parading around the world, doing her appearances, signing autographs for money, acting as if nothing has happened wrong. She's lost Lisa. She's lost Benjamin. Lisa Marie's gone. Benjamin's gone. Where is the grieving? The fans don't understand it. Now, maybe behind closed doors, Priscilla does grieve. She's heartbroken maybe. But to the public, we just see someone who doesn't care. We see someone that is just obsessed with Navarone. Yeah? She clearly shows her affections for Navarone in public. Where is the affections for Lisa Marie? All we see is someone that demanded money after the death of her daughter. We see someone who said, I want $1 million. I want my legal fees paid. I want a yearly salary from Gracelands. Oh, and by the way, just after I lost my daughter. Lisa Marie is one of the most loved celebrities ever. I honestly believe that. Lisa Marie, from a child right through to she passed, was one of the most loved and adored celebrities, Elvis's daughter, ever. But Priscilla seems like she doesn't grieve. It doesn't make sense. The fans can't make sense of it. The fans are like, what are you doing? When she had that interview and she said, oh, I love her to death, that was an insult. When she marched into the Graceland book signing, Riley Keough's Graceland book signing, and then made it all about herself, basically put down Lisa, put down Michael Jackson in front of Nicole Richie, who is Michael Jackson's goddaughter. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make, none of it, all of this doesn't make sense. To the normal person, you and me, the Elvis fans and the non-Elvis fans, none of it makes sense. But why, even though all of the wrongdoing, we know about the wrongdoing in the book From Here to the Great Unknown. We know that the book From Here to the Great Unknown has told us many disgusting things about alleged Michael Edwards abuse. And we know that Lisa Marie felt unloved, unwanted by Priscilla. Yeah, we know all these things. But Priscilla is treated like royalty. Priscilla is treated like Elvis. Wherever she goes, the photographers, the paparazzi follow her. She gets a round of applause wherever she goes. When she went into the book signing at Graceland, a round of applause, a standing ovation. She's treated like Elvis. When she went on the Piers Morgan show, Piers Morgan treated Priscilla like she was Elvis's widow. Piers Morgan treated Priscilla like that she was still married to Elvis when he died. Piers Morgan treated Priscilla as if she is the reason Elvis has not been forgotten. Does anyone for a second believe that the reason Elvis has not been forgotten is because of Priscilla? It's ridiculous. The reason Elvis has not been forgotten is because the fans adore him and still do 50 years later, 60 years later, 70 years later. The fans still adore Elvis. It has nothing to do with Priscilla. The saving of Graceland, it had nothing to do with Priscilla. The opening of the Living Museum, it was nothing to do with Priscilla. Priscilla jumped on the bandwagon and took all the credit. Priscilla proudly, oh, I saved Graceland. You know, when the bankers said, we're going to sell Graceland, everything will be broken up and the wallpaper will be stripped off the walls. I will not let that happen. And then we came up with this amazing idea to save Graceland by opening a living museum. No. Memphis City had already drawn up the plans with Morgan Maxfield, with Jack Sodden. It was all happening before Priscilla came along. But Priscilla takes all the glory. Memphis City were never going to let Graceland be sold off. Never. It was never going to happen. Worst case scenario, Memphis City were going to own it. They were always going to preserve Graceland as a living memorial, living museum to Elvis. They were always going to do it. And the fans were going to flood there. Memphis City knew that the living museum at Graceland would be a massive success just because of the thousands of people visiting the graveside. So let's just check some of your comments, guys. Right, here we go. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. Sorry, guys, you're on it with comments tonight. Love it. If Prissy did apologize, how would we know she really meant it? Sorry is an easy word to say, but the hardest to mean. Very good point, Lorna. Elizabeth, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Richie boy, she will never apologize. I agree, but let's try. Innit? We got nothing to lose. We got nothing to lose. Wouldn't it be amazing if she did? Wouldn't that be good for Elvis? If Priscilla went on Piers Morgan's show on CNN News and said, I admit my wrongdoing. I was unfaithful. I made some bad decisions. I shouldn't have contested Lisa Marie's wishes when she died. I broke up the marriage. I never saved Gracelands. I've spent the last 50 years making money off Elvis's name. Wouldn't that be amazing? Hidden Minds, Renee says, I think she couldn't stand the attention Lisa got, Elvis got, etc. She wants it. Renee, I massively agree with that. I think Priscilla was very jealous of Lisa. Lisa got a lot of attention, a lot, wherever she went. Even Riley Keough, when she talks about Lisa, her mother, would say wherever Lisa went, everyone stared at her. She was so likable, so lovely. She was so natural. She was the real deal. Lisa Marie Presley was the real deal. You watch any interview with Lisa Marie going back all through her different ages, 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s. She is the real thing. She is true to herself, just like her music. True to herself. I do believe that Priscilla didn't like the fact that Lisa Marie got all the attention. Renee, I completely agree with you. When I lost my son, I couldn't function for years without crying. She seems to hate her daughter because Lisa was hurting from losing her dad and Priscilla didn't care. Joy, I send you love. Pray for you. Obviously, losing your son is just, I can't think of anything worse. But I understand the point you're making, Joy, that she seems to hate her daughter because Lisa Marie was hurting from losing her dad and Priscilla didn't care. Priscilla didn't care. This is how it comes across. Are we all wrong? Are the tens of thousands of fans around the world, millions of fans, are we all wrong? I don't think so. Something's not right. Something is not right with Priscilla. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. There's a real disconnect between between Lisa and Priscilla, between Priscilla and the fans, between Priscilla and Riley. Something doesn't feel right. Now we know Riley's trying to smooth it all out and trying to say, oh, we're okay, but they're not. They're not. We've already found a secret text from Riley shouting at Priscilla, saying, how much money do you want? Name your figure. This happened just before they settled the $1 million, the 400,000 legal fees, the 100,000 a year wages, basically, for as an advisor to Graceland, but also a place to be buried in the meditation garden. Yeah. Which, come on, none of us wanted that to happen. And the money that was given to Priscilla was Riley and Finley and Harper's money. Priscilla took her own grandchildren's money out of their pocket. It's madness. It's complete madness. What grandmother takes money out of their grandkids' pocket? It's unheard of. Richie, me too. When I think what she went through, she must have felt so alone after her dad died. Again, and it crucifies us, doesn't it? First of all, as a small child, she's dragged away from Elvis to live with Mike Stone, a complete stranger, the karate champion. Then it happens again with Michael Edwards, another man who allegedly, and we believe it happened, abused her. We've read the book. We did it yesterday. We know it happened, don't we, guys? We have to say it's alleged to keep YouTube happy, but we know it happened. We believe Lisa. It's crazy, guys. Richie, I agree with you. Without the fact she was with Elvis, she would be unknown. She would be unknown. Her life would have been completely different. %, Elvis's talent and personality, and Elvis had something about him that was very special, very spiritual, very beautiful, but even more, I can't even put it into words. Elvis had something about him that was more than just his singing and how he looked. He had a presence. He had a soul that connected to people. Even me, I discovered Elvis when I was 4 or 5. 50 odd years later, I still feel that feeling. That connection that we have with Elvis and with Lisa, but with Elvis, is still there. It hasn't changed. 50 odd years later, I still feel it. Elvis had something very special. Very special. Let's have a look. Elvis was a beautiful soul, and he has been let down so many times. This is why we're called Defending Elvis, because there has been so many different things that have happened. It's unbelievable. We're talking hundreds of things, very unfair things that have made Elvis be portrayed completely incorrectly around the world. So now if you speak to the new generation now, they have a warped image of Elvis. They have a warped image of him like he had done so much. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Is it over there? Have a look over there. No, stay back. Gino. Take it with you. Kids are running down half naked. Right, okay. So that was that. So let's keep going. What have I missed something? Let's have a look. Right, let's have a look. I just don't understand what happened to Priscilla's money. She had millions. I agree. Where did it all go, guys? Is it Scientology? Where did all the money go? I agree. Richie boy, I can't believe Priscilla was in Wizard of Oz. I must admit, she played a good part. Lisa was passed from pillar to post. She must have felt like no one wanted her or loved her. Yeah, when she was a child. Karen, when she was a child. Yeah, Joy says, Elvis was given a beautiful spirit that radiated. It was from God. Yeah. Fully agree. I'm hoping Billy can do his own movie. Are you, Pat, are you talking about Billy Smith or Billy Stanley? So funny, Priscilla Bueller and Mike Stone didn't age well. I'll never understand all the plastic surgery. I think Mike Stone does talk about it. I don't understand why Priscilla went down the plastic surgery road. Don't know. Don't understand it. She was a very naturally beautiful woman. Let's face it, guys. Elvis Presley didn't deserve any of this. He will always be our king, definitely. Herself and Scientology, that's where it goes. I think there's a very good chance Scientology was a big part of it. Hi, we're still doing the Mike Stone interview, Stefan. Stefan, when will you be releasing the Dave Hebler interview in small sections? We all want to see it. We're all talking about it. Yeah, we love Billy Smith. We love Billy Smith. Obviously, we've befriended Billy Stanley as well. I'm a big fan of Billy Stanley. I love his book, The Faith of Elvis. I am reading a chapter a day. I'm reading it during the day now because I'm too tired. But I wanted to come on tonight and have a chat. Let's just press play here.
I think a lot of times, even when they ask Priscilla, well, why did you stay with him? You loved him and you have all of this, and why would anybody give that up? Well, she has an agenda too. She has a life she wants to live. She has goals and dreams. And why shouldn't she? Like anyone else, why?
I'm going to say it all again, but in a shorter sentence. I'll tell you why she shouldn't, Mike Stone. Because she was married with a child. When you're married with a child, you have a responsibility to your husband, to your child, to bring up that child within a family unit. You don't go off and pursue your career and other men. That is why. She wanted money, career, success, fame, spotlight, sex. Yeah? Sex. That is why, Mike Stone.
Why can't you live your dreams? Why you keep denying your power and your abilities? So listen, we all go through this. I was never that close to Elvis, so I didn't think that I did anything against him. I'm not going to go out and try to hurt him. I was as selfish as anyone else. I was trying to make myself happy, and Priscilla gave me an opportunity of a lifetime for somebody that was ugly, poor, and not famous.
Now, look, I'm trying to make myself happy. This is what he just said. He had a beautiful wife. Frances Stone, his wife, was beautiful. He had a new baby on the way. He had a lovely daughter. And he's there going, I was trying to make myself happy. I was trying to make myself happy. It doesn't make sense, guys. It doesn't make sense. If I had a beautiful wife and a beautiful daughter and my wife was pregnant, I would be ecstatic. Ecstatic. So he's contradicting himself, because what really happened is Priscilla was too much temptation. He says, he talks about himself like he was ugly. He wasn't ugly. Mike Stone in 1970 was not an ugly man. He was a big, very healthy looking man. Yeah. He was not ugly. He calls himself ugly. He says he had no money. He was a karate champion. I think he had won 46 medals. He was unbeaten. This is a very famous man in the world of karate. So he puts himself down. He says, oh, I was ugly. I had no money. I was a nobody. I've done nothing wrong to Elvis. I didn't know him. Yeah, you did. Because Priscilla chose Mike Stone. We know that. But by giving in to her temptations, he then opened a door for Lisa to be taken away from her father, Elvis. So Mike Stone did do something. So let's keep going, guys.
I mean, like you said, what can it do to a man's ego? If Elvis was damaged by what had happened, we all going to suffer that. My ego was confronted, and I took the easy way out.
Richie. So Richie boy is making me laugh. Right, anyway. Sorry, you're distracting me. Richie boy, you're distracting me. My throat's getting sore.
So it's a choice I made. I had to accept the results, outcomes, and consequences of my choices. And I did through the hatred and negativity of other people perceiving me. And that's the price I have to pay. But my point is, can you imagine the people that still feel this way today after 50 years? I am sad for them.
So look, guys, like one sentence, that one sentence. Now, Stefan, you must see this. Stefan, are you still here? That one sentence that he just said there has trashed every fan in the world. Seriously, he's just said, I'm going to rewind it a bit so you can hear it again. The one sentence he says has just trashed every fan in the world. Here we go.
Of my choices. And I did through the hatred and negativity of other people perceiving me. And that's the price I have to pay. But my point is, can you imagine the people that still feel this way today after 50 years? I am sad for them. I am sad that if you hear my name, it throws you back 50 years into your life and you're bringing that negative energy into your present existence. I mean, it cannot be a happy life.
Now, I know there are tens of thousands of fans around the world that are still upset with Mike Stone. Personally, I think 50 years later, we should try and forgive Mike Stone, but it's almost impossible because he's so arrogant and that he won't apologize, and he keeps coming out with these bullshit comments with, he literally talks out of his ass. Mike Stone literally talks out of his ass. But I still say this, as a man in his 80s who's been hated for 50 years, come on, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? But I also say this, Mike Stone, why can't you apologize? Why can't you see the wrongdoing? Insulting 5 million fans isn't going to help your cause. If you say, oh, these people that disliked me 50 years later, they must have no happiness. They must have no life. How sad are they? That's not going to cut it, mate. That's not going to make the fans forgive you. That's not going to build bridges. Yeah, insulting the fans, calling us. He's got a funny way of wording it, hasn't he? Let me just see it again, the wording. Let's see the wording again, how he words it.
That still feel this way today after 50 years, I am sad for them. I am sad that if you hear my name, it throws you back 50 years into your life and you're bringing that negative energy into your present existence. I mean, it cannot be a happy life.
I'll tell you what, I have a very happy life. I love my life. I'm sure all of us here have happy lives. If we have strong opinions about Mike Stone, it doesn't mean I have an unhappy life. I just have a strong opinion that I feel that Mike Stone should show regret, remorse, say sorry, not be arrogant. He comes across very rude.
If you're living that far back in the past, and just the mention of my name makes you upset, and you may not have ever met him once in your life. So
that's true. It's true.
Yeah.
In the book,
I think it is, but people have their own idea what's true.
Everybody has their own idea. Let me ask you, when you see yourself being portrayed in a movie, because there's been lots of movies of Elvis, and there's always a different Mike Stone in there. How's that make you feel when you're watching it or you see that and they portray you?
Yeah, it doesn't. Listen, I've done movies. I understand how they work. I know how you put them together. I know the basic concept of it. But let's take the last movie that Priscilla did. She obviously had a tremendous say and impact in how who was casted to play me, what the role was going, how was she going to show the relationship, and she showed it the way she wants to show it now. That I was just the instructor. There was no romantic relationship, and all of this, she's in denial, and for whatever reason she's doing it now. I don't know what her legacy is going to be. But this, and I can't do nothing about it, so I'll just accept it. If I can't do anything about it, if people want to believe what they want to believe, they will do that. I'm not here to change anybody's mind, but maybe we should all just, grow and evolve and become a little bit more tolerant. Like you said, when you get older, you become more patient, more wise, more understanding. But some people have not. They're still living 50 years ago. So that's sad.
Absolutely.
People want to believe what they want to believe.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm going to rewind that a little bit. Now, I just don't understand it. I don't understand how after 50 years, it's more than 50 years, he can be that arrogant. Now, I know Stefan every now and then agrees with him. It's difficult for Stefan. He's trying to hold an interview. I do think that since this interview, Stefan has got to know a lot more about Elvis, a lot more of what went on behind the scenes way back then. And I think Stefan's opinion has changed a bit. So this was done, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Yeah. Maybe longer. So let's just listen to Mike Stone being very arrogant again. And Joy, I agree what you just said. It doesn't make us sad. It makes us sick of what you did to your wife and child and the domino effect that had on Lisa's life. Yeah. Yeah, Pat says Priscilla played him like a fool. 50 Shades of Mike Stone, yeah.
They will do that. I'm not here to change anybody's mind, but maybe we should all just, grow and evolve and become a little bit more tolerant. Like you said, when you get older, you become.
So, even that is a dig, isn't it, guys? We should all grow and evolve. He's saying that Elvis fans should grow and evolve. So does that mean all of us, millions of Elvis fans in the last 50 years have not grown, have not evolved? I don't understand it. It's like, if you want to make the Elvis fans dislike you even more, do this interview. This is how I see it, guys.
Become more patient, more wise, more understanding. But some people have not. They're still living 50 years ago. So that's sad.
Absolutely.
I'm not living 50 years ago. I'm not living 50 years ago. Now let's cover this quickly. Now, Elvis died in 1977. Yeah? I had this conversation with someone the other day. To discuss Elvis, we have to discuss things that happened nearly 50 years ago, or 60 or 70 years ago. It's like someone said to me the other day, why can't you make videos that don't have old footage in, or that don't have the old books? I can't remember who it was. Someone said it to me. And I'm like, how can you talk about Elvis without looking at the old footage, the old songs, the old videos, the old movies, the old books? You can't. You can't discuss Elvis unless you go back. And this is what Mike Stone is now sort of saying about us Elvis fans being stuck in the past. Yeah. But we have no choice because Elvis died in 1977. We have to go back to remember Elvis. The songs, the movies, the videos, you name it. We have to go back. So what is his point? Yeah. If I want to talk about the Beatles, yeah, I'll go back. I'll bring up the old movies of the Beatles, the old songs of the Beatles. So what is his point? Yes, we go back because Elvis died in 1977.
In the book, you mentioned wondering why Priscilla chose you. Do you feel like she had an agenda? Perhaps there was a way to get back at Elvis?
Well, again, being honest, my ego at the time believed it was me.
I think Karen's just said a good point. Angie, yes, good point. He's doing that by writing another book. I'm writing about 50 years ago. There we go. So he's being a hypocrite. Oh, Mike Stone, you wrote a book recently. You even added the name of Priscilla and Lisa onto your book. You even put, in one part of it, you put the breakup of the century, the marriage of the century. You couldn't even just name the book Mike Stone, My Life. You had to go Mike Stone and Elvis and Priscilla and Lisa. Now, everything you're writing about happened nearly 50 years ago. So the comments you're making about people living in the past that have sad lives, that are very unhappy, why are you writing a book about things that happened 50 years ago? Do you have a sad life? Are you unhappy? Come on.
Because I did think, she could have picked 1,000 guys in Hollywood that were very much more handsome, had more money and more famous than I was, for sure.
Now, Richie Boy's going to say something now. But, look, I'm not going to insult Mike Stone's looks, how he looked when in 1971. She fancied him. He was her taste. Priscilla fancied the way Mike Stone looked in 1971, 1970 maybe. That's Priscilla's taste.
So why did she pick me? And I'm sure that's the question a lot of the fans had. Why this guy, this obscure guy that's just a karate instructor? I mean,
What? I don't understand it. Why does he call himself just a karate instructor? For a start, 10 minutes ago, he said he was never an instructor. Now he's saying he is. But not just that. He was he won, as far as I know, if I've read my facts correctly, he won 46 consecutive medals. So this was a champion. This was a famous man. His friends were Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee, James Coburn, and amongst others. Yeah. So he just said that he was an obscure, ugly man. That's what he just said. An obscure, ugly man that was not an instructor. He called it, yeah. He's contradicting himself. He literally tells one lie, then follows it by another.
she will have to answer that. I can't. But when she picked me, for whatever reason she had at that time, I wanted to believe it was because of who I was, the person that I was. So that was my ego trip. And, you know, if that was not the reason she selected me, then for 4 years she lived a lie where I lived my truth. I wanted to believe that this was the truth, and I did the best I could to be.
Sorry, Team Elvis, sorry. You're all cracking me up. Finola and Richie Boy. It's just cracking me up. I'm trying to conduct a show. You know, I can't even look at it without laughing. Right. Sorry, guys.
Be a good partner. So,
4 years, it's a long time. Now, the one thing that I'm interested in, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers are out there. Oh
my God.
In the book, you talk about the phone call, Elvis, you taking the phone, confronting Elvis because he was threatening you, all this crazy stuff. I just got to ask you, man.
No, right, okay. On a serious note, so this is the part of the book. Where is it? Elvis, what happened? This is the part of the book that upsets everyone. Yeah, the bit where the Red West, Sonny West, Dave Hebler, Elvis was climbing up the walls, demanding that Mike Stone gets killed. Yeah. Now we know Elvis didn't mean it. He had just lost his temper. Didn't mean a word of it. But you think about it, guys. A man in his 20s. I'm not sure how old Elvis was. I'm sure you guys will tell me. Late 20s, early 30s. Yeah. Now, you've just had your wife taken from you. You've had your daughter taken from you. Your daughter, who you worship, is living with a stranger, a karate champion. Not living at home anymore with dad. What are you going to do? You're going to go crazy. You're going to shout. You're going to curse. You're going to make threats. You don't mean any of it. But any man would be infuriated and go crazy under those circumstances. Could you imagine how embarrassing it was for Elvis? Remember, Elvis, anything that happened in his life was on all of the tabloids, all the magazines. There was even news clips on TV. Elvis's life was public. So this situation with Priscilla, with Mike Stone, was massively humiliating for Elvis. Massively. And actually, even though Lisa was very young, she would have been aware what was going on. She's been dragged to live with a stranger, Mike Stone, just because Priscilla wanted to shag him. That's the truth, guys. Priscilla wanted to shag Mike Stone, so she took Lisa away from her father. I know it sounds crude, guys. Priscilla wanted to get naked with Mike Stone, so she took her daughter with her, away from her father, Elvis. That is the crutch of it. Priscilla didn't move in with Mike Stone because he was wealthy, because he was the best looking man in the world, because he was super talented. She just decided to choose Mike Stone for whatever reason she had, and then the damage caused by Priscilla's decision to run off with Mike Stone and take Lisa Marie is immeasurable. Immeasurable.
Really quick, it baffles. It's like the king of rock and roll versus the king of martial arts. It would be the best pay-per-view, make millions right now, better than the Jake Paul fight in Tyson. If it was out today, if you went back in time, that phone call, you grabbed the phone. What was that? I got to be a fly on the wall. Can you tell us that story really quick?
Thanks, Joanne.
She got a call and she started to cry on the phone. So I asked what she's crying about, and she wouldn't answer. And then she was not really talking. She was just listening. And then, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes into the call, she kept crying and crying more. So I said, who is it? And she wouldn't say. And then I said, is that Elvis? And she kind of nodded her head. So I said, give me the phone. And she wouldn't do it initially. I said, give me the phone. So I took the phone from her. And then when I put the phone to my ear, actually what I initially heard was actually heavy breathing. I mean, it was like somebody was having difficulty breathing. And then I said, hello. And then he said, oh, I'm going to come over there and make you beg for your life. I said, what? Make me beg for my life? Wow. So I said, well, I'm not going to run from you ever. You can always find me. You know where I live. So I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to hide. You can always come and find me, and you can do what you think you can do. And that was it. I gave her back the phone.
Do you know what? I just see macho. This is them flexing muscles now. This is Mike Stone going, oh yes, I stood up to Elvis, I showed him I wasn't scared. I'm bigger than you. I'm harder than you. This isn't going to endear you to the fans. Sharing this 30-second bit of information isn't going to make the fans go, oh, maybe we should accept his apology. Maybe we've been unfair to Mike Stone. This is just going to make the fans dislike him even more. The last 10 minutes I've listened to has completely put me off Mike Stone. Completely. Mike Stone hasn't said one thing in the last 10 to 15 minutes that makes me think, oh, poor Mike Stone. Not one thing. He's done the exact opposite. I would say every word I'm listening to is infuriating. Infuriating. Do you agree, guys?
And that was it. You didn't worry about anybody ever coming knocking on your door. His henchmen, the Memphis Mafia, Elvis sent us. You never worried?
Well, there's one thing about worry. It does no good for anyone, especially the person worrying. What are you going to worry about?
True.
No.
Did Priscilla say anything about, hey, he's really crazy. He could send some people, Mike. Maybe we should.
No, I knew that already. I've heard all the stories. So I knew how he was. I know he has a hot temper. Listen, when you're in that state and everybody is at your beck and call, it's very difficult if you pursue that lifestyle and that doesn't change and everybody's bowing to your every demand, every request, everything that happens, then, I can understand how it's difficult to believe that that's who you are. So, but it's not the truth.
It's not the truth. That's crazy. I got to kiss your ass, Mike. I got to tell you, the king of rock and roll, you went and you went, you know what? Well, you never sat down on it. You're like, hey, I'm here. I'm not hiding. You want me? here I am. Come and
Well,
get me.
I never looked at him as the king of anything. You know, he was
See, look, no, I just see that he's digging a hole. He's digging a hole. This isn't going to endear him to the fans.
he was a very talented, gifted, handsome, wealthy guy. But
Yeah.
Finally,
what am I going to do with that?
No, no. I think
he was a very handsome, gifted, wealthy guy. But then he throws in, what am I going to do with that? What? I don't understand. Why is it all about Mike Stone? Why is it all about him? What am I going to do with that? You know, hang on a minute. There was a child involved in this. Lisa Marie was the victim in the middle of all of this.
I think being the king of rock and roll got to his head, and the people he surrounded himself, he got lost. And obviously, in the end, the truth does come out. You see where you see how the movie ended for them all. It's very sad, as we said in the beginning.
Yes.
Let me ask you, and here's a personal question: how did your family react to the news of your relationship with Priscilla? Because you were married before.
So this is a question, a good question that Stefan is asking here. Because, yeah, we're talking about Priscilla and the effect on Lisa Marie, the damage that it did. But let's hear how he now, I think, when I watched this last time, I do think he sort of says something like, I'm sorry, I hurt my family. I think this is probably the only breakthrough we had in the whole interview. Stefan, I don't know if you're still here. But this little tiny bit here, you see something, his face changes, his face calms, and you see a tiny ounce of regret. Let's see what he says, guys.
And how did they all take that? And how did you take it?
Well, I took it based on my perception and what I thought was best for me, obviously, very selfishly. They didn't take it very.
Yeah, so very well. He's just said very selfishly. So very ounce of blaming himself. Then he says they didn't take it very well.
Very well.
Yeah. But in time, there was healing there with your family afterwards in time?
Yes, of course. Yeah, if they really are your family and they love you, of course. Listen, the same thing happened to me, the choices I made. It happens every day with everybody, sometimes 2 or 3 times in their lifetime. So this is not like, like, oh my God, it's so horrible what he did. No, everybody's doing this.
Well, I don't agree. He's now saying it happens every day. Yeah. Now, of course, I know people have divorces every day. Relationships break up every day. I understand that. But how many men leave a pregnant wife and a child? Remember, he just said, oh, this happens every day, as if it was normal. Yes, people divorce every day. Yes, relationships break up every day. Marriages break up every day. I know. But how many when the wife is pregnant, when there's a small 3-year-old kid? Because I think people are different under those circumstances. That's just how I see it.
Everybody's doing this every day in every relationship. Things sometimes don't work out for whatever reason. And it's not a matter of blaming whose fault it is. Life is not about faults. Life is about making choices. And when you make
Absolutely.
a choice, there's going to be an outcome and consequences.
And he keeps doing this. You make a choice, and then there's outcome and consequences. What am I supposed to do with that? Yeah, I'll use his little saying. Okay, there's outcome and consequences. Yeah, I know. I don't really see what his point is. There's outcome and consequences of everything. Yeah. What is he saying? Yeah. Shall I can't explain what he's trying to say.
Before you make a choice, you have to now think far enough in advance whenever the outcome and decision or the result's going to happen. You got to already anticipate that. So you must be willing to accept the responsibility for your choices.
I just find it bullshit. Do you honestly think for a second that when Mike Stone said, you know what? I'm going to shag Priscilla because she's gorgeous, she's sexy, even though I'm married and my wife's pregnant. Do you think he for a second thought to himself, oh, well, there's going to be outcome and consequences? Do Do you think Mike Stone for a second sat there and said, yes, well, if I do that, there will be outcome and consequence? He didn't do that. He was a typical man and he shagged her. He didn't even think about the consequences. He wanted to shag her. He wanted to get naked with Priscilla. That's it. He didn't sit there and go, outcome and consequences. He's literally talking rubbish.
Yeah.
And this times you learn later in life.
Absolutely. Okay, hearing the news, the passing of Lisa Marie, what went through your mind and emotions when you heard that?
Well, again, I use the word tragic and sad. I mean, it's, yeah, what can you say? But if you understand that life, I just said, if you understand that life are choices that you make, and if you're making choices that people can see the end result, some people are not looking far enough into the future on their choices, that they act like it's a surprise. It's not a surprise. You could see it coming. Why? Because her father did the same thing. People around her did the same thing. So people are just living, you know, you can only teach what you know. So in martial arts, for me, I can only teach what I know. I can't teach beyond my comprehension, beyond my knowledge, beyond my experience. I can't teach that. I don't know it. But if your life, you're exposed to this all of your life, then what do you expect? What do you think the results are going to be different from the choices you make? And that's when people get into denial. So everything is like a surprise. Oh my God, she died so young. It's tragic. Yes, it is. But didn't anybody see this coming? With Elvis before, did Priscilla see it coming? Is that why she left? Did she try everything she could to help him? I think she did. Apparently the other people.
Oh, God. It gets worse, doesn't it? Now, let's talk about this. Did she try everything she could to help him? Think about it, guys. Let's backtrack a little bit. December 1966, Elvis, for whatever reason, decides, do you know what? I'm going to marry her. They get engaged. They get married May the 1st, 1967. She's pregnant that night. Now, we know that they had had sex way before the night of the marriage because Lisa Marie put it in her book. So we also know that Priscilla's been lying about that for years to the world. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about what he's just said. So everything, how can I say it? Elvis does the right thing. Gets her pregnant. 9 months later, the baby is born. So he has just said she did everything she could to help him. Now we know, remember, we know that 3 months after the birth of Lisa Marie, that she had sex with Steve Peck, the dance instructor. So where is this? She did everything she could to help him. No. Elvis gave her everything she wanted. He gave her an engagement, a marriage, a baby, commitment. He gave her that. She thanked him. Within 3 months of the baby being born, Lisa Marie, lovely Lisa Marie, she's shagging the dance instructor. She's admitted it. It's in the book, page 262 of her book, Elvis and Me. She calls him Mark. She admits that when she was going home to Elvis, she was thinking about Steve Peck, dreaming about Steve Peck. I think he was 39 years old. So he's just said she did everything she could to help him. And then within 18 months, she's made a beeline for Mike Stone and shags him. So where is all this? Priscilla did everything she could to help Elvis. I don't get it. Elvis was very healthy in 1970. Elvis wasn't all drugged up out of his head on pills in 1970. Elvis was a very healthy man. You look at any pictures of Elvis in 1970. He's a very well man. So what is all this rubbish about she did everything she could to help him? She didn't. She did the opposite. She shagged Steve Peck, the dance instructor, in 1968, and then ran off with Mike Stone around 1970. Yeah? Now, don't forget, there's also rumors that she slept with other men. Guys, seriously, there are rumors that she slept with other men between even before, even in the 60s. There are rumors that she was unfaithful in the 60s, the mid 60s. Yeah. So Mike Stone has just said she did everything to help Elvis. No, she didn't. I would say the opposite. I would say she did everything to damage Elvis, because she was unfaithful to him many times. And then when they went for the divorce settlements, she got very greedy and she more or less bankrupted Elvis. Priscilla spent all the years after divorcing Elvis, after 73, when it was finalized, asking for more money, even having a debt placed on Graceland. So how has she done everything she could to help Elvis? So no, Mike Stone. She did not do everything she could to help Elvis. She did everything she could to help herself. The damage that she did to Lisa Marie is crazy. She threw Lisa Marie into Scientology. She didn't do everything she could to help Elvis. She did everything she could to help herself.
People, they want to continue their relationship and what's happening. So everybody has an agenda. Everybody has a reason why they do things. And it may not be harmonious for everybody. It may be agendas that it's just for you. I understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. After the breakup with you and Priscilla, did you guys ever bump into each other in the world of Hollywood, or no? That was it.
No, but I bumped into Priscilla. I mean, with Lisa one day. She was about, I think, 14. I think she was actually living or staying at Scientology, and we had gone to a movie at Universal Studios, and I had just walked away from getting the tickets, and then I just turned to look back, and I saw Lisa, and she was with a young guy.
Just 1 second. I think Dan sent me something. Let me just see if it will play. Is it a video or is it a write-up, Dan?
Getting the tickets, and then I just turned to look back, and I
Hang on, let me just have a look.
So much.
Let me just see if it's going to work.
Nothing happened. I'm sure he looked himself in the mirror and go, where was he going to go with this? Look, he was so bloated and out of proportion. He abused his body so much from nothing happening. I'm sure he looked himself in the mirror and go, where was he going to go with this? Look, he was so bloated and out of proportion. He abused.
My God. Right. So, yeah, I understand, Dan. I mean, it's just... I just think this man has been so unfairly treated. And even, we're talking about Mike Stone at the moment. Yeah. And do you know what? Now I've watched this interview again. I have watched it a couple of times. I think this is my third time. I'm even more disappointed. Stefan, are you still there? I'm even more disappointed with this. I've heard it. How can I say it? All of it just literally makes me completely understand why the fans don't want to forgive Mike Stone. Now that I've heard it all the way through again, talking it through with you guys, he's just digging a hole, isn't he? The hole's getting deeper and deeper and deeper.
And she turned. We were maybe about 25, 30 feet away from each other. And she turned and she mouthed. I saw her lips move and she said, "Oh, that's Mike Stone." And then she turned back and the guy, he looked around like, "Where?" And she kind of like pointed, but I was already looking at her. But that's the only time I've seen her after. I haven't seen her since, or Priscilla since.
Wow. That's heavy. That's heavy. Now, is there anything that you wish you would have said to Priscilla or would like to say at this point?
Gee, that's a very, very, very good question. And
So Stefan's going for it. He's asking a hard, tough question. Come on, Stefan, let's hear
The
it.
thing that I would like to say is probably even for myself, because I made negative choices. I made wrong choices. I did things that hurt some people, which was not my intention. My intention was to make me feel better. So I'm sure she's making choices that she feels is the best for her at this time in her life. So, and I'm the last one to give any advice about anything. So no, I don't think I would say anything. And even if I did, I don't think she would have taken my advice.
Now, guys, I think he's still smitten with Priscilla. I think all these years later, his hot look at the way his face changes shape. As soon as he brings up Priscilla, is there anything you want to say to Priscilla? He does then do a little minor apology. This is probably the best that Stefan has got out of Mike Stone in the whole interview. I know that it's longer than this, but this is the bit that we're watching. This is the only breakthrough really that Stefan got, this little section where he admits wrongdoing. Let's play it again, guys.
Choices. I did things that hurt some people, which was
Now, let's
not
go
my
back a little
intention.
bit.
My looking at her was
Right.
actually living or staying at Scientology, and we had gone to a movie at Universal Studios, and I had just walked away from getting the tickets, and then I just turned to look back, and I saw Lisa, and she was with a young guy, and she turned. We were maybe about 25, 30 feet away from each other, and she turned and she mouthed. I saw her lips move, and she said, "Oh, that's Mike Stone." And then she turned back, and the guy, he looked around like, "Where?" And she kind of like pointed, but I was already looking at her. But that's the
Wow.
only time I've seen her after. I haven't seen her since, or Priscilla since.
Wow. Wow.
Right, so here's the killer question, guys. I'm gonna have to go after this part, but I've actually found this really interesting. We've had a brilliant time, haven't we? I agree with Richie boy. We've had hundreds of comments. Thank you so much, guys. We've really engaged on this, haven't we? Hi, Debbie. So let's listen to this. This is the only breakthrough, I think, in the whole interview when Stefan says, off Artist on Record, says, do you want to ask Priscilla anything? Do you want to say something to Priscilla?
Wow. That's heavy. That's heavy. Now, is there anything that you wish you would have said to Priscilla or would like to say at
Now, I just want you to look how his face drops, how he gets a bit serious. This is why I think he's still a bit smitten with Priscilla. Just listen, watch his face. Let me just go back slightly. Now watch how his body language changes.
Pointed, but I was already looking at her. But that's
Wow.
the only time I've seen her after. I haven't seen her since, or Priscilla since.
Wow. 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 That's heavy. That's heavy. Now, is there anything that you wish you would have said to Priscilla or would like to say at this point?
Gee, that's a very, very, very good question. And the thing that I would like to say is probably even for myself, because I made negative choices. I made wrong choices. I did things that hurt some people, which was not my intention. My intention was to make me feel better. So I'm sure she's making choices that she feels is the best for her at this time in her life. So, and I'm the last one to give any advice about anything. So no, I don't think
That's just funny because he spent the whole interview giving advice. Yeah? He just said, I'm the last one to give advice about anything. He laughs it off. But he spent the whole interview giving us advice. The whole interview. And that is as close to an apology as you're ever going to get. That's a tiny breakthrough from Stefan, who asks a good question right at the end. Right at the end. And he even says, I made mistakes. I put myself first. I was selfish. I hurt people. Right at the end, he does an apology. but it's not good enough. It's not heartfelt enough. It's not, I would say that those few words there where he says, I hurt people, I put myself first, I made mistakes. He should have said that at the beginning of the interview. At the beginning of the interview, say that. Mike Stone, if you're watching my show ever, give the apology at the beginning of the interview. Admit wrongdoing. Say you're sorry. Admit you hurt your family, that you hurt Elvis, you hurt Lisa, you hurt your unborn child, your young daughter. Then spend half an hour trying to make it up with the fans. That's what you should do. If you want to make a change to how the fans see you as a human being. But instead, you lectured us. This is how I see the interview. We were lectured for the whole of that half hour. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, guys.
I would say anything, and even if I did, I don't think she would have taken my advice.
Don't think
She
so.
definitely wouldn't.
Mr. Mike Stone, his book, My Time with Priscilla and Lisa Marie Presley. You could get that book. Links will be in the description. It's a great read from a great guy. And Mike, you know what? I gotta give you props, man. To put your heart out in this book, it probably wasn't easy to write, and there's a lot of emotions that ran through your mind putting this down here. But for the Elvis fans that are interested, you get to hear the real Mike Stone. And with this interview, I hope we cleared some air for some of you guys out there that are fans of the music that Elvis gave you. But this is the man that spent some time in the happy times this book shows of his time with Lisa and Priscilla. Make sure you post your comments down below, everybody, and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up.
So, well, I personally think Mike Stone didn't clear things up. I personally think that Mike Stone actually made it worse. Now, I thank Stefan. I thank him for doing this interview. He's obviously reached out to Mike Stone and managed to get the interview, which you got to give him credit for that. But I personally think Mike Stone made things worse. I think he dug a hole even deeper. It's going to now be even harder for the fans to want to forgive Mike Stone. So, very sad, guys. We have had a bit of fun with Richie Boy. We have had a bit of a laugh. Yeah, he made it worse for Nola. He made it worse. And I don't know where to go from here with that. I really don't know where to go because I just found the whole thing a complete interesting, but a complete letdown. Honestly, I found the whole thing a letdown. Now we know that Stefan is going to interview has already interviewed Dave Hebler. Now I hope the last Dave Hebler interview that I watched on YouTube was a massive disappointment. Dave Hebler, obviously one of the people that helped finish this book, who made the decision to do this book with Red West, Sunny West, with the publishers, with Steve Dunleavy, the author. Yeah. I hope that Stefan has been able to get some kind of positive outcome from Dave Hebler's interview concerning the book Elvis, What Happened. I'm very interested to know what questions Stefan asked. I'm very interested to know what kind of answers he got. I know the way Stefan does it, he'll do an interview, then he'll break it down and he'll release it in small sections. I'm still going to review Stefan's interview with Billy Stanley. Yeah, obviously you guys know that we're reading Billy's book. Let me just get it a minute. So we're on chapter 7 of Billy's book. So we will be reading that tomorrow during the day. I'm doing one chapter a day. I'm a big fan of Billy Stanley, a big fan. I know that the name Stanley gets everyone going crazy. Of course, we all remember the massive mistake that was made by his mum, but I want to try and show some respect to Billy, so I don't want to really talk about that. We know that Billy's brothers also made mistakes. I don't really want to talk about the mistakes because I want to show respect to Billy, because Billy did try and stop his mum from doing what she did. And it's not Billy's fault at all. I think Billy is one of the #1 defenders of Elvis at the moment. So I've got a lot of respect for Billy, and I'm very proud to have made friends with Billy. Now, I don't agree with all the mistakes. All the stuff that's gone on in the past with the Stanleys. I don't agree with any of it, but I am a big supporter of Billy Stanley. Thanks, Richie boy. We've had some fun. It's nice to have a bit of fun, isn't it? You know? I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a big Bruce Forsyth fan. I grew up with Bruce Forsyth in the 70s. A small child with my twin brother and my mum and dad and my sisters. We watched the Generation Game. The Generation Game, guys. We watched it. Let's see if we can get it up. Does anyone remember the jingle? The Generation Game. Does anyone remember it? Let's have a look. We could have a laugh at the end. Why not? Now, I don't know if it's going to come up. The Generation Game. You know, cuddly toy, cuddly toy. I wonder if it'll come up. We can have a bit of fun. I'm trying to see if it comes up. Here we go.
Fresh flair for the 90s. It's the Generation Game.
It's the name of the game, and I want to play the game with you. So nice. Can we terribly take if you don't play the game with two? And I want to play the game with you. Ladies, gentlemen, and children, welcome to the Generation Game. It's nice to see you,
Generation Gap.
There I go.
Fresh flair for the 90s. It's the Generation Game.
I love, do you know,
to see you. And here's my message to the nation. The Queen's done hers, has she? I don't want to take a living. I don't want to take a living. My message, may your pudding stay firm. I'll start again. May your pudding stay firm. May your cake stay fruity. May your berries stay red and your bird a beauty. May this always happen till the last Noel. And if it does, didn't you do well? Nice to see you.
to see you. Nice. Okay, guys, we had some fun. So it's bedtime for me. I'm like, oh, I need my bed. I need my bed. But we've had a brilliant time. We've been on for well over an hour. A serious subject, of course. We're defending Elvis Presley, aren't we? It's always serious when we're on defending Elvis Presley. We do have the other channel, Elvis Presley Fan on Keto, for much more light-hearted, fun stuff. So, guys, we've had a brilliant time. Usual thing, like, subscribe, you can get us a coffee, hit us a super thank you, become a member, it's only $1. We've had a brilliant time. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I've loved all of you. Richie, you just made me laugh the whole show. I kept a serious face, but I was laughing inside. Thank you, all of you, for joining. It was brilliant. Brilliant. We've had a great time. The best. I really appreciate all of you. I'm going to bed, guys. In England, it is gone 10 o'clock. And for me, that's late. Because I wake up so early. So I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Love you all. I send you love. See you all tomorrow.